Good evening, Professor Tong. Good evening, professors, teachers. This is Summer Al. I am here in Indonesia, South Sumatra, specifically Palembang, the capital of South Sumatra. I'm an English language fellow. This is a program supervised by Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. and the State Department. I'm here for 9 months. I teach at the University of Sriwijaya, Unsiri. And let me start from the beginning and tell you about the fellowship. The interviews and the application itself, the process of applying is pretty long, but it's totally worth it. So first of all, you complete the application online. It's long, and it took me about 3 or 4 weeks to complete it. You upload 2 lesson plans that you have created, designed, 3 recommendation letters, statement of purpose, and so on. And then they email you and let you know if it was accepted, and then they set an appointment for an interview. My interview was in downtown New York. I don't remember exactly the place, but it was in downtown. I was interviewed for almost 45 minutes to an hour. And interestingly, there were 2 people there in the interview. One, the professor was asking me the question, and the other interviewee was typing whatever I was saying, because they report to the State Department, I believe, and Georgetown University. So during the interview, they asked me a lot of questions about how to adapt to a new culture, how can I adapt to that, what will I bring to the country I will be teaching in, what do I plan to do, my vision, my philosophy, how can I deal with large classes, or what will I do if there are no books, no resources, no internet, no classrooms, no blackboard, nothing to use. How can I create materials if there's no electricity, and so on. They asked me a lot of what if questions, and the what if questions were geared towards cultural understandings and how to teach in class. So that was the interview in New York. And then, after a couple of months, they emailed me again, and they said, okay, we matched you to Indonesia. So let me back up a little bit. When you fill in the application online, they tell you what are your preferences, where do you want to go. So you can put as many countries as you want. Indonesia was not one of the countries I mentioned. However, I said, yeah, sure, Indonesia. And they said, okay, you have to reply in 48 hours if you accept or not, so it's pretty serious. I said yes, and then the very next day, the RELO, who is the Regional English Language Officer here in Indonesia, in the embassy, contacted me. We Skyped together. I was in Egypt at that time, and he asked me the same questions. Can you handle living under relatively difficult circumstances? What will you do if there's a cultural misunderstanding? What about if you don't have enough resources in the university, and so on. Now, after that, they match you. After they match you to a country, they match you to a project in the country. So the English Language Fellow program, they send teachers all over the world. Indonesia is one of the biggest one, and Turkey as well. We are 12 fellows here, but I'm the only American fellow in my city, in the capital of South Sumatra. In all Sumatra, we have only 3 fellows. So Turkey has 12 fellows as well, and then I think China has 5 fellows, but there are fellows all over the world. They do provide health insurance. There's a plan that they provided us with. They do encourage us to have our own health insurance plan, but I think the one that they provided was enough. We are paid in US dollars. The payment goes straight into our bank accounts. Accommodation here is as follows. Once you are matched to a university, the university is responsible for your accommodation, but the embassy as well makes sure that the place is good for the fellows. And if we face any problems concerning accommodation, we contact RELO in the embassy, and they are pretty responsive. They're very responsive. I did have some issues with my accommodation, and they were on it. What else? My experience here so far has been really amazing. I teach 7 classes in Unsuri, and this is what I'm required to do, to teach maximum 14 hours. So if I do that, that's fine. That's okay. I'm not required to do anything else. But I think 14 hours for me is not that much, especially that I have a lot of free time. So I did a lot of outreach to schools and universities here. So I visit elementary and junior high schools and high schools. Every week I spend an hour with one class with the kids. I play games with them. I share materials with them. I answer the questions about the United States. Sometimes I prepare a PowerPoint and share some information with them. I also travel a lot during the weekends. So part of the program, and what RELO here encourages a lot, is that the ELFs, English Language Fellows, we travel to other cities where there are no other fellows, or there are other fellows, and give workshops, participate in conferences, and do a lot in other places. So every week I travel to a city, a different city or a different part of Indonesia. I give a workshop, and I get to explore the country, which is really beautiful. Now, the expenses of these trips are covered because we have PPA, which is basically $2,500. We can spend these on traveling and working, but if, for example, I travel 5 days and the workshop is 2 days, so they cover 3 days and I pay for 2 days. But basically it's covered. Taxes, I am not sure how I am going to file taxes, but during the orientation in Washington, D.C., oh, I did not mention that. There is an orientation in Washington, D.C. before we travel here, before we go to the other countries. We spend a week in Washington, D.C. With people from Georgetown University and the State Department, and they tell us everything that we need. And there's an in-country orientation for all fellows in the countries right after we arrive in the country to familiarize us with everything in the country. And we had dinner with the ambassador in charge, and that was quite an experience in her house. So what was I saying? Oh, okay. So I forgot. Anyways, yeah. So taxes, right? They told us that there is a woman we can contact, and she used to be an English language fellow, and she knows how to do taxes as well. Visa, how I got my visa. Okay, so once you're accepted, the embassy in the country which you will be teaching in, and Georgetown University both work together with you, and they direct you and tell you how to get your visa done. Okay, what else? Life here, specifically in Indonesia. It's terribly hot and humid. People are very nice, warm, and friendly. The food is good, but you have to be very, very careful. You take a lot of vaccination, and you have a lot of medicine with you all the time, because sometimes you would get just traveler's diarrhea or whatever. There are a lot of good doctors here, and once you arrive, the embassy puts you in contact with, they have a list, they give you a list of the doctors that are approved by the United States where you are, so that's good. I have a counterpart here in the university who is basically responsible for, not responsible for me, but responsible, it's his duty to assist me and provide me with anything I need during the fellowship. So if I have any problem, I call my counterpart, and they're always helpful. Okay, I have a blog. It's called 300 Days of Summer in Indonesia. I blog pretty frequently, and if you need to contact me, or if you need any more information, my email is samar.diamond@gmail.com. Please contact me, please stay in touch. I miss home terribly. I miss you all. Take care. Bye.